marketers. Deborah Eckerling here.
And I'm Keith Smith, and we host the MPN Meta Marketing Show, which is not just another marketing podcast, but the marketing podcast about all the other marketing podcasts.
Podcasts are booming, right? We love them, and people actually listen. They don't scroll, they don't swipe. Well, except maybe during the ad breaks.
But here's the secret. With the Marketing Podcast Network, your ads don't make people hit skip. We put your brand on shows that people actually want to hear.
That's right. We match your message with podcasts that make marketing nerds like us perk up and take notes, or at least nod knowingly, pretending they understand.
And don't worry, because we'll deliver your ad naturally. People might even think that we love your brand personally, which of course we totally do, unless it's a veggie smoothie, then maybe not.
If you want your brand heard without making listeners roll their eyes,
Head to marketingpodcasts.net and catch marketing fans at work, rest, and play. Seriously, your audience is already listening. Make sure they hear your brand and not our awkward jokes.
join the conversation because good ads shouldn't just be tolerated, they should be enjoyed.
Yes!
You enjoy podcasts. We know because you're listening to one. Hi, I'm Jason Falls, the executive producer of the Marketing Podcast Network. We love podcasts too, so much so that in addition to providing you with the great episode you're listening to, we also help businesses, brands, and even individuals produce their podcasts. MPN Studios offers podcast consulting and production services to help you get you or your business its very own podcast. We've helped dozens of smart people, advertising agencies, and brands develop podcasts. All you do is record your content or interview. We take that and deliver a professionally produced audio or video episode complete with show notes, transcriptions, and even promotional clips to use on social media. And our monthly subscription prices are hard to beat. If you or your company are jonesing to have your own podcast to establish thought leadership, drive business leads, or just have fun talking about your business or topic of choice, we'd love to help. Learn more at marketingpodcasts.net/studio. That's marketingpodcasts.net/studio.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience in their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today.
Welcome to Your Radiant Spirit, a space for the conversations and colors that help you see yourself more clearly. I'm Heather Eck, an intuitive artist and guide, and I believe your soul speaks in the ways the mind can't always put into words, through color, energy, and the stories your body holds. This show is where we explore those messages. Through personal stories, deep conversations, and creative insight, we'll uncover what's been hidden, release what no longer serves, and begin to imagine what's possible when you live in full alignment with who you're meant to be. What you hear here is more than inspiration, it's an opening, a chance to feel the shift that could change everything. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's step into today's conversation. Welcome back to Your Radiant Spirit. I am so thankful to be able to spend Wednesdays with you all. It is my great joy to be able to share with you the things that are happening in the studio, the things that I'm working on in my personal life, in my business world. And today's solo episode is kind of like that. It's part personal update, part business update, part reflection, and a little bit of spiritual housekeeping. Because lately I've been thinking about how the act of tending to what's around us in our outside world, cleaning, clearing, organizing, all of those fun Sunday afternoon activities, they can actually mirror the deeper work of what is happening within us. So consider this your friendly invitation to settle in, take a deep breath, and let's do a little energetic sweep through together. You know that feeling when your space feels cluttered or messy? Like for me, it's when I can look around and see that, oh my gosh, we have to vacuum the house. Oh my gosh, I did 7 loads of laundry and I haven't put a single article of clothing away. Or you just generally look at your very cluttered art studio and think, no wonder I can't create in here. It's a hot mess. That has been me. But this week, I took a little time to straighten things up. And what I found was really interesting. As I was vacuuming, I actually got a download, I guess you'd call it inspiration, like something popped in. And in between the quiet hums of the vacuum on the carpet, an idea for a holiday novella just popped into my head, fully, completely drove in, completely out of nowhere. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of cute. What's that about? But I knew that if I didn't immediately go and grab it, if I didn't immediately go to my computer and jot down the notes for it, that it would leave my head and move on to someone else who would. So I took a couple of hours on Sunday afternoon. Totally was not how I had planned to spend my day, but to start to write out the flow, the format, the content, and even some chapters of this little holiday novella. So I think it's really interesting that when we start to clear our physical spaces, we actually invite in energetic space. And I know now that when I am feeling really stuck or blocked or uncreative, that the act of moving around, straightening the studio, vacuuming, putting away laundry gives my mind space to allow creative ideas to come in. So often, inspiration hides behind piles of stuff. Could be energetic stuff or it could be physical stuff. You've got an undone to-do list. Your desk is cluttered. Or you have a million mental tabs open in your brain and there's one playing music back there and you can't figure out how to close it. But I think that what I'm learning is that when we tend to the small things, the bigger things can finally find their way in. So this is sort of the essence of spiritual housekeeping. Clearing what blocks us from hearing what our spirit is trying to get our attention for. At the end of each day, I sort of lay in my bed and go through a checklist of spiritual housekeeping. Is there anyone or anything or any situation that I need to forgive that I haven't yet forgiven? Because the act of clearing that from your mind makes space for peaceful sleep. All of this to say, I'm not encouraging you to go through your house and completely declutter everything. But if you find yourself feeling uninspired, lethargic, no ideas, you can't figure out what to do next, and you're just not sure what your next move is, just try to do a little bit of straightening up, because the act of doing that might allow more fun, inspiration, ideas, or clarity to pop into your head. This week, I was also listening to an episode of the Telepathy Tapes, which is out now in its second season, and they talked about creativity and consciousness. And I found myself feeling a little bit hesitant to listen to this because sometimes I don't want to be told how to be creative because I'm afraid it will interfere with my creative process, which I know sounds really ridiculous, but Elizabeth Gilbert and Rick Rubin were in this episode, and I was so inspired by their approaches to being disciplined in your creativity. And so it's not about being disciplined in the harsh, push yourself way we usually think of it. They describe discipline as more of a sacred rhythm or a daily commitment to meet your creativity, even if it's halfway. And that resonated so deeply with me. So I've started scheduling 1 hour each day to be intentional just to create. Because what will happen to me is that I will sit down at my computer in the morning and I'll get sucked into emails, or I'll think I've got to edit a podcast or write out a newsletter or what have you. And the next thing you know, an entire week has gone by and I haven't painted a single thing. So what I've started doing is just coming into the studio, doing my daily Bible study, and then giving myself a full intentional hour just to create. No deadlines, no pressure. I'm allowed to listen to whatever I want to, whether it's a podcast or music, and it's just me and my paints, and whatever wants to come through comes through. And this 1 hour each day is changing things for me. Because when we show up consistently for our creative practices, we're really showing up for ourselves. So the discipline here becomes sort of a devotion, not a rigid practice. It's kind of like saying to the universe, I'm here, I'm ready, you can speak now. And I forget who says the quote, but it says, inspiration will find you working. And so if you've been craving more inspiration, more creativity, try giving it a place to land. Set aside, even if it's just an hour this week, for you to write or crochet or cook or paint or write poetry or take a nature walk, whatever it is, but give yourself that intentional creativity time and see what unfolds. For me, art has always been a way home. Art is a way to quiet my nervous system and connect with places that words can't touch or that I can't really even describe. And when I paint, my entire body softens. My breath slows, my shoulders drop, my jaw softens. It's like my whole spirit exhales. So, art just doesn't decorate life, it actually restores it. We were made from creation and we're meant to create. And I think that's what so many of us are craving right now: stillness, safety, softness. Creativity is a beautiful reminder that art is medicine and that the creation of art itself is healing. I'm talking about art of all kinds. So, whatever that means for you, for me, it might be painting, writing, doodling, what have you. But just knowing that I'm making something makes me immediately feel better. Okay, so let's switch gears for just a minute and talk about a few business housekeeping updates. This is really, for me, just about another form of evolution. Nothing's really changing, so to speak. But if you've been with me for a while and you are in my Facebook group called the Color Club, this has now officially become the Color Healing Academy. This shift has been on my heart for a while because it reflects the deeper work that we've been doing together, moving from color conversation to color transformation. And inside the Color Healing Academy, we'll gather each week for healing, energy, meditation, and therapeutic art making. And what happens through this process is that there's so much more going on. It's not just a creative class, it's actually inviting you into a place of calm, clarity, connection, and confidence, where you're learning to listen to the language of your own energy through color. So if you've been a part of the Color Club before, this is your invitation to step into that next layer with us. I'll drop the link here in the show notes, but you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/art by Heather Eck. Another update, and this is something I'm so excited to share with all of you, is that my therapeutic art journeys have gone from 3 months to 4 months long. The reason that I added that extra time was because it gives us space for true and lasting transformation, not just emotional release, but teaching my clients how to integrate, embody, and align with the new way that they see themselves going forward. If you haven't heard me talk about these before, the quick note is that these therapeutic art journeys include spirit portraits, one-on-one private sessions, ongoing support, and creative practices that help you move through what's ready to shift. And another new update here is that when you join, I send you a curated box of art supplies so that when we meet on our one-on-one sessions, you have everything that you need to be able to immediately step into the place of art making to express and explore whatever it is that your spirit wants to say. I have been so blessed to be able to see people go through some incredible transformations through this work, and I'm so honored to walk beside them. So if you're feeling stuck or blocked, or you're just not quite sure what your next step is, these therapeutic art journeys have been helping people reveal, release, and realign to their true spirit. If this conversation stirred anything in you, inspiration, ideas, or if you're just curious about what color is speaking in your energy right now, I would love to gift you a free color insight session. Just DM me the word color on Instagram at HeatherEckArtist, and I'll send you a link to book your session with me. This is a free 30-minute call where you can experience how all of this works, how I see color in you, what it means, and what it might look like for us to work together, if it makes sense. So if you're not already on my weekly newsletter, I'll drop the link in the show notes. It's where I share color forecasts, creative prompts, and reflections like this one every Wednesday morning. So as we wrap up today's little housekeeping episode, here's my gentle reminder. When you care for your space, you also care for your spirit. When you tend to your creativity, you also tend to your peace. So whether you're vacuuming the living room, clearing your calendar, or painting something just because it feels good, every act of care becomes an opening for inspiration and healing. Thank you for spending time with me today. I hope that you find beauty in your routines, stillness in your creativity, and light in the spaces that you clear. Until next time, my friends, keep tending to your radiant spirit. Thank you for joining me today on Your Radiant Spirit. Every conversation here is an invitation to go beyond the surface, to listen to what your soul has been whispering, and to step into the life you've been longing for. If you're ready to go deeper, to work in a way that's personal, creative, and profoundly transformative, you'll find ways to connect with me in the show notes. Whether it's through art, a guided session, or a fully immersive journey, you'll discover a space where your truth is seen and your next chapter begins. If this episode spoke to you, it would mean the world if you shared it with a friend, left a review, or subscribed so more people can discover the conversations we have here. Until next time, my friend, keep noticing the colors, the moments, and the nudges. They're all leading you home. And for now, take a breath, hold on to what resonated, and carry it with you into the rest of your day. Thanks for listening.
This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.